Well, all right, let's go ahead and get started here. I'm Ryan Henry, owner of At Home Tech Solutions, and today we're going to be talking about getting to know Windows 10. Windows 10 was an update provided by Microsoft to users who used Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 8.1 systems in addition to sold on brand new computers. Now this is the second time Microsoft offered an update free of charge. The first example of that was Windows 8 users were given the update to Windows 8.1, which corrected the start button issue that a lot of users weren't happy with when purchasing a Windows 8 system. So this is a shift in strategy by Microsoft to going to software as a service as opposed to purchasing the software outright. And so over the last 5 years, it's been a growing industry. People are moving into this software as a service as opposed to purchasing the software for two big reasons here. The first one is the smaller upfront cost. You don't have to outright buy the software to get started. You just begin your subscription. In a lot of cases now, free trial is being given before you commit to subscribing to the service here. The second reason is continuous updates. This ensures that not only do you have the newest version available, but also that you're getting the security updates that are associated with it. And this is something that wasn't offered with outright purchasing software, in the sense that your support was limited, assuming there was any there. And so once a new edition was released, you're stuck with that older version and continue to fall further and further behind. So Windows 10 does provide a lot of great features. Some of them were introduced with Windows 8, but a number of them are brand new for Windows 10, including the ability to sync non-Microsoft accounts. So services such as Yahoo, iCloud, and Google now sync pretty well with Windows 10, something that didn't do so hot in Windows 8. So we're going to cover a couple of things here to help you get the most out of Windows 10. So the first thing we're going to discuss here is connecting a Microsoft account. This is important because Microsoft is moving to give you the freedom to pick up work on other devices by connecting the same account. And so there are a number of accounts already that are Microsoft, such as Outlook.com, Hotmail, Office 365, OneDrive, and Skype. So those are existing services that are with Microsoft that you can use that account to sign in. But if you don't have any of those accounts set up, signing up for one is easy. So it's the first point here in the digital resource sheet. There's a link to sign up with an online account. And so to connect your computer to your Microsoft account, you would first click Start and then Settings. So here on the Start menu, Settings is the third option up. The first thing is that All Programs is now known as All Apps. Apps is a term that is short for application and has been a popular term with programs on phones such as Android and iPhones. So from there you would go into your Settings menu and click Accounts and Your Account, and from that menu you can click the link to sign in with your Microsoft account. So doing so will help you sync your data as well as your settings across devices. So let's say if you sign into a new Windows 10 system, you could easily pull all of those with you and have a familiar experience on any device you utilize. We'll move on here to our next point, which is keyboard shortcuts. Now, keyboard shortcuts are not anything new in Windows. They've existed for quite a while now. And so they're a very useful tool to navigate your computer using the keyboard. And so, I still have the right screen up. So first is a relatively simple, there we go, is a relatively simple shortcut, and that is just the Windows key. The Windows key will open up your Start menu, and that's a feature that has existed for several versions now, but it is always useful. The second shortcut here is Windows key and L, and that's to lock your PC. So for example, if you're working on your computer and you get up right away, you don't need to go to log off or lock your system. You just use Windows and L, and it'll take your computer to the lock screen, requiring whichever password, passphrase, or PIN number that you have set for your computer. The next shortcut is Windows and D, and this allows you to close and minimize all of your open windows and go to the desktop. Using the shortcut a second time will bring back the last window you were working inside of, and then you can continue to alternate between desktop and your last used app. The next shortcut is the Notification Center. Now this is a new feature in Windows 10 here, and so what it is a single pane that is meant to give you all the major notifications such as email and appointments, as well as system messages. At the bottom of the Notification Center, you also have common control panel settings such as Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, connect to a projector, VPN, location, and airplane mode. You can also enter all settings from this menu. The next feature here is Windows key and S, and that's to search. Now the search bar here in Windows 10 has two uses. If you opt not to use Cortana, and we'll cover that a little later on, this is just a basic search field, and you can search not only the contents of your computer but online. So depending on the search terms you use, Windows will know exactly where to search. The point here is Windows key and C, that's Cortana on listening mode. So what that does is that allows Cortana to start listening so you can give voice prompts. This is great once you get Cortana set up, and we'll cover that here in a couple of moments, and there are some great uses that Cortana has. So our next one here is Windows key and tab. This brings up Task View, and while it is not a new feature to Windows 10, it is very useful if you're working on a number of different apps and windows at the same time. You can also use your directional keys to shift between which app you'd like to switch between there. So. Next, we have Windows key Control and D, and that opens up a new virtual desktop. Now, a virtual desktop is similar to having a multiple monitor set up only on the one monitor. And so our next two shortcuts here, Windows Control and the right arrow, will allow you to shift to your right virtual desktop. And Windows key Control and the left arrow will take you back to the left virtual window. And then once you're done working with all of your virtual desktops, Windows key Control and F4 will close your virtual desktop and bring you back to the original desktop that you're using on your computer. So our next point here is Cortana. Now, Cortana is your personal assistant in Windows 10, and Microsoft first debuted Cortana on the Windows Phone in 2014 and decided in some of the technical previews of Windows 10 that they were going to go ahead and introduce Cortana. And so she can now integrate on your Windows Phone as well as on your Windows 10 PC. Plus, they also have availability for an app on Android as well as iOS devices such as iPhone and iPad. So the great thing about Cortana is that the more apps and accounts that you connect, the more useful Cortana becomes. So signing in with your Microsoft account will allow you to sync with any email or calendar you have set up with those services, but also covering the email and calendar app in general on the computer. You can also sync those with different accounts, and we'll cover those here in just a few moments. So the next thing we're going to go through here is a video just of some of the different things that Cortana can do in speaking mode, and that's the the Windows key and C to bring up Cortana in listening mode here. You can also activate Cortana by saying, "Hey Cortana," and so she'll begin listening to you.
Hey Cortana, create a meeting with Ryan at 2 p.m.
add meeting with Ryan to your calendar for today at 2 p.m. Is that right?
Yes.
Great.
Hey Cortana, move my 2 p.m. meeting to 4 p.m.
Sure thing. You want to change meeting with Ryan to today at 4 p.m. Is that right?
Yes. Hey Cortana, when is my next appointment?
Coming up next, you have meeting with Ryan from 4 o'clock to 5 p.m.
Hey Cortana, what is the weather?
It's currently 57 and mostly sunny.
Hey Cortana, remind me to change the oil in my car next week.
Okay, at what time?
3 p.m.
Okay, I'll remind you to change the oil in my car at 3 p.m. Monday. Is that right?
Yes.
Sure thing.
Hey Cortana, what is happening this weekend?
You're free all weekend.
Hey Cortana, tell me a joke.
Why did the cowboy buy a dachshund? Someone told him to get along, little doggy.
Hey Cortana, play 2112.
Here's how you can listen to 2112.
And so these are just some of the features that Cortana has. And so one of the great features is you don't specifically have to type in your command. There are a number of other features and tasks that Cortana can complete. One of the great ones is the ability to track packages. So if you go into your settings menu on Cortana, you can add in any packages that you're waiting for, perhaps even some flights. And so that more Windows develops, the more useful Cortana is and the more features that she's capable of. So this is by far become one of my favorite features in Windows 10 here, and so it's the ability to, somewhat manage my schedule, a task that is otherwise kind of difficult to open up the calendar, type everything out, versus to say, hey, schedule me 3, 4 o'clock where I need to be, and go from there. And so the next thing we're going to cover here is connecting additional accounts. Now this is useful for your mail and your calendar app specifically, whereas you can connect your Yahoo, iCloud, Google account, and more. And so depending on the ability that your mail account has, you can set up both your email and your calendar from this setting. You can also switch between which one becomes the default for anything Cortana enters into. And so what we have here is this is the calendar app on Windows 10 that we've opened up here. And you'll notice that there is, let me do it from here. You'll notice right down here is the settings menu. If you click to open this up, right here, it will bring your accounts, and so from there you can manage accounts and add any other email or calendar app you wish to use on the computer. So next we have here, the Windows Store. Now the Windows Store is something that started up with Windows 8 and now comes into Windows 10. And so this gives you the ability to download apps, games, music, and movies here. So you can find just about anything that's available through the store. And there are some paid apps, and then there are some freebies. Most of their music and movies is through a purchase service similar to iTunes and the Google Play Store. But like the competing operating systems, only apps that are approved make it in there, and so there is some limited screening that they're not going to be malicious or harm your system, whereas at most places you can download anything, you're going strictly by the reputation of that source. So the Windows Store at least gives you a little bit of stability, knowing that they've done some basic checking to make sure it's not going to siphon all your data or anything like that. So the next thing here, and this one's very important, is changing your default apps. Now, with Windows 10, especially if you take the upgrade, any app that you had remembered as default was automatically changed back to Microsoft services. So that meant in the case of your internet browser, you went with Microsoft Edge. So Microsoft officially killed off Internet Explorer by moving to Windows 10, and they replaced it with Microsoft Edge. Now, Microsoft Edge is a step ahead of what Internet Explorer ever was. However, there are still other browsers out there that a lot of folks prefer, and we still specifically recommend using Google Chrome above those. That being said, Microsoft Edge doesn't have the serious security flaws that Internet Explorer did, so it's at least a basic level of safety and use out there. Windows definitely did do a lot of changing and a lot of updating to the look and feel of how their operating system is set up. And a lot of it comes from how people have learned to use their smartphone over the years, where everything's kind of in a general settings, and you can go there and easily navigate what you'd like to do. Now, there are ways to access them the classic Windows way, such as 7 and earlier. However, I do recommend using the new way of doing it. It's a lot easier, and there's fewer things that could mistakenly be misconfigured. So the next thing we're going to cover here is Microsoft OneNote. And while Microsoft OneNote has been around for quite a long time, it is a feature now that Microsoft has decided to release for free, and so it comes standard installed on Windows 10. You can also download it for Mac computers, Android, and iOS devices. And so the great thing about this is you can once again sign in with your Microsoft account and sync all of your notes and lists from device to device, which gives you the freedom to be able to take a note on your phone and look at it again on your computer. And so from there you're able to keep everything in one place and very neat. These are just a few of the many features in Windows 10, and so what we decided to cover today was some of the biggest features to help you get the most out of your Windows 10 experience.